Have you ever had that quiet, nagging feeling that something inside you just isn't right, but you can't explain why? Maybe you've started getting winded walking to the mailbox. Maybe you feel tired before the day even begins. Or maybe you've had these strange little sensations like a tightness in your jaw or an upset stomach, and you just brush them off. It's just old age, you tell yourself. It'll pass. But what if, instead of passing, it's progressing? Here's something most people don't realize. Not all heart attacks are loud. Not all of them come with a dramatic, chest-clutching collapse like you see in the movies. In fact, especially for people over 70, a heart attack can arrive quietly, almost politely. No fireworks, no fanfare, just a few subtle signs. Signs that are easy to ignore until they aren't. Your body is wise. It wants to protect you. And it often tries to warn you, gently, softly, days or even weeks before something serious happens. The question is, are you listening? You see, after age 70, our bodies change in ways we sometimes don't fully understand. What feels like indigestion might actually be reduced blood flow to heart. What seems like fatigue could be your body struggling to get oxygen to your muscles. And what feels like just anxiety might actually be your nervous system responding to real distress. This video isn't here to scare you. It's here to empower you. Because when you know the signs, even the quiet ones, you give yourself a better chance to live longer, live stronger, and live fully. So stay with me. Over the next few minutes, I'll walk you through 5 of the most silent but serious warning signs your body may be giving you before a heart attack. Not just so you can avoid danger, but so you can live the rest of your life with confidence, clarity, and peace of mind. 1. Unexplained fatigue, a hidden red flag. Of all the signs your body might send before a heart attack, this is perhaps the easiest to overlook. Fatigue. Not just the kind of tiredness you feel after gardening or cleaning the kitchen. No, this is different. This is the kind of tired that makes it hard to finish brushing your teeth. The kind that makes taking a shower feel like a marathon. You might say to yourself, I didn't sleep well last night. I guess I'm just getting older. Or maybe I've been too inactive lately. But here's the truth. When your heart is struggling to pump blood efficiently, especially oxygen-rich blood, your muscles, your brain, and your entire body begin to operate on low power. It's like trying to run your home with only half the electricity. Lights dim, appliances slow down, and sooner or later, something shuts off. Let me tell you about Raymond, age 77. He loved making his own breakfast every morning, eggs, toast, and fresh coffee. But over the course of a few weeks, he found himself skipping it altogether. Just cracking the eggs made him feel drained. His family assumed he was depressed. But when he finally saw his doctor, tests showed signs of ischemia. The heart wasn't getting enough blood. That persistent fatigue? It was his first and only warning. Here's the challenge with this symptom. Fatigue is common. It can come from many things: lack of sleep, anemia, depression. But when it's new, sudden, or doesn't improve with rest, it deserves more than a shrug. Backhand index pointing right. Ask yourself, has your daily energy dropped without a clear cause? Do simple tasks leave you breathless or shaky? Do naps or sleep no longer refresh you? If the answer is yes, even to one of those questions, don't write it off. You may not feel chest pain. You may not feel sick. But fatigue, when it's not explained by lifestyle or sleep, can be one of your body's most important early cries for help. And the sooner you listen, the better chance you have to get ahead of it. 2. Shortness of breath doing everyday tasks. Imagine this. You've been walking the same hallway in your home for decades. It takes you from your bedroom to the kitchen, a matter of 20 or 30 steps. But lately, halfway down that hallway, you're already out of breath. You pause, maybe lean against the wall. You think, maybe I'm just a little out of shape. I haven't been walking as much lately. Or must be the weather, humid today. But what if it's not the weather? What if it's your heart quietly telling you that it's no longer keeping up? Here's what's happening. Your lungs bring in oxygen. Your heart pumps that oxygen to your muscles and brain. But when the heart is weakened, blocked, or overworked, the oxygen delivery drops. So even the simplest tasks, tying your shoes, getting the mail, brushing your hair, begin to feel like a workout. Let me share the story of Janice, age 74. She'd always taken pride in doing her own laundry. But one day, walking up the basement stairs with a light basket left her panting. Her daughter noticed her lips looked a little blue. Janice laughed it off. Guess I need more exercise. But a week later, she was diagnosed with early congestive heart failure. Backhand index pointing right, here's what to watch for. You get winded faster than you used to, even without increasing activity. You find yourself needing more breaks during routine chores. You feel pressure in your chest or throat when climbing, bending, or lifting. You breathe heavily while just talking or eating. Many seniors chalk this up to getting older. But here's the truth. Aging alone shouldn't take your breath away. You should be able to walk across a room or climb a few steps without gasping. If that's changing, don't wait until the breathlessness turns into something worse. It's your heart's way of asking for help, softly at first, but the longer you ignore it, the louder the consequences can become. 3. Indigestion that doesn't feel quite right. Most of us have had indigestion at some point, maybe after a heavy meal, spicy food, or eating too fast. So when it happens again in our 70s, it's easy to assume just a little reflux. Must have been that tomato sauce. Or, I'll take an antacid and it'll go away. But sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes what you think is heartburn is actually your heart. The confusion comes from the fact that the heart and the stomach are very close neighbors, and they share some of the same nerves. That means the discomfort caused by reduced blood flow to the heart can feel like bloating, fullness, gas, or pressure just beneath the breastbone. Take Arthur, age 76. He began noticing a strange heaviness in his upper abdomen after dinner. No sharp pain, just a dull, tight sensation, like he'd eaten too much, even when he hadn't. He tried switching to smaller meals. No improvement. Then one day, while watching TV, that pressure moved into his back and shoulder. That was the clue, and it saved his life. Doctors later confirmed he'd been experiencing angina, a form of chest pain caused by narrowed arteries. Backhand index pointing right. So, how do you tell the difference? Ask yourself, is this indigestion new or different than usual? Does it come on during physical activity, like walking or climbing stairs, not just after eating? Do antacids and rest not relieve it? Does the feeling radiate to the neck, jaw, or shoulder? If you answered yes to any of those, it's time to take it seriously. Remember, the classic Hollywood heart attack, someone clutching their chest, is often not how it happens in real life, especially for older adults. For many seniors, the only symptom is digestive discomfort. That's why ignoring harmless heartburn could be a dangerous mistake. If your gut is trying to tell you something feels off, maybe it's not your gut at all. Maybe it's your heart. For discomfort in the jaw, neck, or back. When people think of a heart attack, they almost always picture chest pain. But what if the pain never shows up in the chest at all? For many older adults, especially women and people with diabetes, the first place they feel heart trouble is somewhere totally unexpected. The jaw, the neck, or the upper back. It might start as a dull ache at the base of your skull, a strange pressure in the sides of your neck, or a vague soreness between your shoulder blades that comes and goes. And that's the problem. It's vague. It doesn't feel sharp. It doesn't drop you to your knees. So it's easy to ignore until it's too late. Let's look at Denise, age 79. She was active, healthy, and lived alone. For weeks, she'd been having a strange tightness in her upper back, especially in the mornings. She thought it was her mattress, or maybe arthritis. But one morning, after climbing the stairs, that tightness suddenly spread to her jaw. No chest pain, no numbness, just pressure. Her daughter insisted on taking her in, and that same night, she was in surgery for a 90% blocked artery. Backhand index pointing right. Why does this happen? When your heart isn't getting enough oxygen, the discomfort doesn't always follow the rules. Instead of staying in the chest, it can refer pain to other areas, especially where there are clusters of nerve endings. Key clues to watch for. Pain that shows up after physical activity. even mild exertion, discomfort that goes away when you rest, pressure or heaviness, not sharp or stabbing pain, pain that moves from your back to your neck, your shoulder to your jaw. Here's the bottom line. If you're over 70 and feeling any new or unusual pain in your upper body, especially if it's repeating or follows a pattern, don't dismiss it as aging or posture. It could be your heart's quiet cry for help. And your decision to act could mean the difference between a close call and a catastrophe. 5. A sudden sense of doom or anxiety without cause. This may be the most unexpected warning sign of them all. A sudden, unshakable feeling that something is terribly wrong. Even though nothing around you has changed, it's not just nervousness. It's not ordinary worry. It's a deep, physical sense of dread that seems to come from nowhere, and you can't explain it. For Carol, age 76, it happened on a quiet afternoon. She was sitting on her porch with a cup of tea. The weather was calm. No pain, no shortness of breath. But suddenly, she felt overwhelmed. Her hand began to tremble, her heart pounded, and she had the strangest thought. Am I dying? It passed in 10 minutes. But something told her to call her doctor. That call saved her life. Blood tests showed elevated cardiac enzymes. She'd had a small heart attack, and that moment of unexplained panic was her only warning. Backhand index pointing right. But why does this happen? The heart and brain are deeply connected through the autonomic nervous system. When the heart is under strain, your brain senses danger, even before your conscious mind can identify a physical problem. It triggers what feels like a panic response. Racing heart, tightness in the chest or throat, sweating, shaking, overwhelming unease. The difference is, this is not triggered by stress, fear, or thoughts. It's your body's internal alarm going off. Important clue, if you've never had anxiety before and suddenly experience these symptoms without any mental trigger, it may not be in your head. It could be in your heart. Many seniors, especially those who live alone, brush this off. They don't want to bother anyone or seem silly, but this kind of sudden emotional shift can be a life-saving clue. So if you feel a wave of panic, tightness, or an unexplained urge to seek help, don't ignore it. Follow that instinct. Your heart may be trying to get your attention, not with pain, but with fear, and it might just give you the time to act before something irreversible happens. Let's take a deep breath together and look back at what we've learned. Not every heart attack announces itself with pain. Sometimes it speaks in whispers, in fatigue that creeps in quietly, in breath that shortens on a walk you've taken 1,000 times, in a bellyache that doesn't feel quite like heartburn, in a stiff neck, an aching shoulder, or a tightness in the jaw, or even in that strange, unexplainable sense that something just isn't right. If any of these 5 silent warnings sound familiar to you, don't panic. But don't ignore them either, because here's the truth. Your future is still in your hands. The beauty of recognizing subtle symptoms is that it gives you time to check in with your doctor, time to adjust your lifestyle, time to take small steps, walking more, sleeping better, managing stress, before anything becomes an emergency. You are not powerless. In fact, by being informed and listening to your body, you're already ahead of the curve. So now, I want to ask you, not as a stranger on a screen, but as someone who cares deeply, what resonated with you today? Have you ever dismissed your body's signals and later realized they meant something more? Please share in the comments. You never know. Your story might open someone else's eyes or even save their life. If this video gave you something to think about, if it helped you feel seen, understood, or motivated to act, I invite you to like, subscribe, and share it with someone you love. Because heart health isn't just about living longer. It's about living better with clarity, confidence, and calm. You've spent your life giving your heart to others. Now, it's time to start giving back to yourself. Thank you for being here. And please stay safe, stay strong, and listen closely. Sometimes the heart doesn't shout, but it always speaks.